Hello and welcome back to Corks and Controller episode 4. Episode 4 already, yeah.
Is it episode 4?
That's right. That's what happens when we record 2 episodes the first day.
And I thought this was like episode 5.
And then we're too winded to do 2 the next time. And then now we're doing this one.
Okay, perfect. So then episode 4 it is.
All right. I'm Victor, and I'm joined by...
Victor.
And then this is the show all about pairing boozes with screens. As I once had a revelation about it, I was just like, I kept like mulling it over like all week. I was like, what's a nice, clever way? Like, because every time I talk about it with people, I'm just like, oh yeah, video games, wines, but there's other stuff. And then one day I had an epiphany. I was just like, booze and screens.
That makes better sense instead of like trying to figure out like, oh yeah, it's whiskey and movies or wine with video games or beer and albums. I mean, it's just too diverse. So
yeah, and I did get a little pushback from a undisclosed coworker who was like, where does that leave music and books? I'm just like, those are on screens nowadays too.
Books?
Yeah, like little ebooks, like Kindle, the Kindle app, or your actual Kindle.
Oh my God! So let's cut that one short real quick. So anytime that I have a book, I don't feel like drinking. I don't feel like drinking. If I had to pair something with that, I'm gonna pair it with something I really don't want to drink either. But I guess I have to.
Mm.
And that's tequila.
There you go.
If I want to be reading Catcher in the Rye, catch me with, a reposado añejo in my glass. Not just kidding. No, I do like books. It's just I never thought that books would fall within that category.
I mean, I like to imagine there are plenty of people who are just like, I'm going to take at least 30 minutes out of my day, sit in my favorite chair, my nice chair, and then there's just a glass of wine on the table to the side while I'm catching up on my favorite series. And
When was the last time you read a book, like for fun? I'm trying to think of that myself.
Oh man, I have been trying to get through what is it called? It's not Snowpiercer. It's Snow Crash. Snow Crash I picked up recently because when the whole like metaverse was starting, like Facebook changed their name to Meta, and they started talking about the metaverse and like everything. Like there was a lot of news articles referencing it's just like, what is metaverse? Or like when was it first coined? And it turns out it was first coined in a book called Snow Crash.
Huh.
And I think I'm pretty sure it predates Ready Player One as well. It's like one of those first books that describe.
Isn't that a movie as well?
Yeah, that is a movie. And yeah, it was one of the first books to like describe like you put something on and then you're somewhere else. And it's a whole different world. So I've been trying to get to that one. It's a little tough because it's like it's so ingrained in the world that it doesn't explain what every little thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't want a book to like stop every 2 words to explain what something else is.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, you don't want one that just throws you in and you're just like, what's all this vocabulary? What are they talking about? What does this mean?
Oh, that is true.
So it's just like, it's pretty easy for me to put down and be like, I'll get to that later. But it's fun for what it is so far, at least. That's my review of Snow Crash.
Now, the $1 question is: were you drinking anything while you were reading that?
There was a time where I was drinking a beer. I don't recall the beer, but drinking alcohol slowly for me makes me kind of sleepy too. So that's a bad call. I can't be sitting down somewhere comfortable and nice and reading and drinking at the same time. I'll end up being like, I'll pick that up tomorrow.
I feel the same thing would happen to me. Just because it's like when I want to read a book for fun, I'm just not in the mood to do anything else. And I am so damn lazy that if I was reading a book right here and my drink was right there, I'd be like, too far. I'm too comfortable. I can't do it. And that wine would just sit there. Now, if I had a hot dog and that was a bottle of Beaujolais, whole different story.
Hot dog. Oh, I miss hot dogs.
Oh my God. So imagine this for a quick minute. Imagine like a hot link, right? Wrapped in bacon.
Yeah.
On a toasted hot dog bun. With, a little bit of mayo. And then on top, a tiny bit of ketchup, tiny bit of mustard. and then diced onions, tomatoes, grilled jalapenos, and at the very top, some little pickles.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that would not taste delicious.
I think I would forget about the drinking part. I'd just be going to town on that dog.
That hot dog would be immensely complex, but a slightly chilled bottle of just basic Beaujolais takes me straight to heaven.
I think that does sound like something I would need to wash down every couple bites. But
Yeah, the salty, the spicy, the chewy, the savory. I want a hot. We just ate, dude, and I already want a hot dog. Maybe that's what we'll do next week. Bacon wrapped hot dogs and Beaujolais. You heard it here.
It's like, yeah, what? Like, I know we're having fun playing like a bunch of video games and stuff, but next time let's forget the prep. Come straight here. We'll go to like Rocket Dog or some other garbage, and then we'll do the podcast.
I know, right? By the way, today we had pretty much deconstructed puttanesca bucatini, or bucatini puttanesca.
Mm-hmm.
So, can I elaborate on the meal real quick?
Oh, of course.
The finest selection of Italian bucatini with its superb, just excellent, marvelously tomatoey target marinara sauce and some diced anchovies. It was magnificent.
There you go. It was.
Tell me, for being 3 ingredients, that was not pretty damn good.
That was good. No, yeah. It was just like, you're just like, oh yeah, just be careful with those anchovies. I was like, I'm saving them right now. I give you the jar. It's like, this is going on my next meal. I don't know what my next meal is, but they're going right on top.
Anywho, now let's get back to the content of the show. So, where shall we start?
Oh, yeah. So, for today's featured beverages, we got ourselves here a Crossbarn Chardonnay Sonoma. Is that who they're from, Crossbarn?
No. So, this is made by Paul Hobbs. So, this is his little baby label called Crossbarn.
There it is, established by Paul Hobbs.
So Paul Hobbs is let me just say the guy, Mr. Paul Hobbs, makes incredible Chardonnay and Pinot Noir and some really expensive Cabernet. But the reason we're featuring that today, that is for our Swifties out there. If you remember last episode, we paired Taylor Swift albums with Chardonnay. So the Paul Hobbs Crossbarn, it's a lot more affordable. So just the standard Russian River Chardonnay from Paul Hobbs goes for like about $50-$60. The Crossbarn is made with fruit coming from the Sonoma coast, so out way, way, way on the western coast of California, up north. But this Chardonnay is priced at a reasonable $25 a bottle, compared to the Paul Hobbs Chardonnays, like the Russian River or the Sonoma Coast Paul Hobbs that are like $50-$60, or single vineyards, you're talking like now in the hundreds. Mm-hmm. This is delightful. This is just refreshing. It's juicy. It's really easy to drink. Let's hear that satisfying smack.
I almost forgot. How foolish of me.
It already sounds like summertime.
I can't wait until we do our first cork pop as well.
Oh, we haven't popped the cork. Cop the cork. Pop the cork. We don't need to cop any corks. We don't.
Yeah. And now, have you ever been to Paul Hobbs?
Oh yes, this winery is in the city of Sebastopol. Actually, not too far away from a different wine. Wait, yes.
A little behind the scenes. I'm not sure if it's important today. Well, of course it is. Victor drives here.
Oh yeah, that'll be your glass.
Okay.
If anything, I'll just spend the night here tonight. Don't worry, it'll be nighty-night for me after that.
Well, I've broken the ceremonious rule already of not pouring for yourself, but I guess.
Yeah, whatever,
Now,
the wonderful thing is that Victor, after these episodes are done, him and good old Heather get to enjoy these wines afterwards.
Yeah. If only...
Oh my God, this smells so good.
Now, if only our fabulous winery friends, or any representatives whatsoever, would contact us at podcast@speaky.net. Maybe they can throw a couple of bottles, and that way, there's one for the show, there's one for us, and maybe some for some viewers. Some of our viewers are pretty local, so that would be easy. But
yeah,
imagine shipping a wine.
You could giveaways.
We would need a bit of financial backup over shipping wines to fans.
Oh yeah, that is true. Unless we could get the wineries to ship it to them directly.
There you go. Help us out.
Take a whiff of this wine, dude. I want to see what you think.
I am going to. And people are like, God damn, Victor, are you all right?
No,
settling in for the day?
This is a tasting. I mean, that's, believe it or not, that's still not even 5 ounces. A proper serving of wine is 5 ounces. That's technically what it should be. Yours is probably closer to like 3.5 ounces. Mine is about maybe like about 1.5 ounces.
Wait, how do you know?
Oh my God, believe me, after having to do wine math plenty and plenty of times at that old job.
You're eyeballing all the way from over there?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
yeah, so
I'm not going to question the expert.
we need to come with a catchphrase instead of cheers. What's like a video game version of saying that?
It's a video game version of cheering? I have no idea.
Mamma mia. No, not that one. That's Mario, right? What's So today I got to play some video games.
Yeah.
And oh wow. For the makers of Subliminal, I got a word for you. I got a few choice words for you. Please email us so I could tell you what I thought about that game, because I'm not about to slander you guys like that. But my good God, my blood pressure went up. I felt so stupid playing that game, but I want to go play it again. So congratulations. You guys did it. Oh, what'd you think?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. I was just going to say, God, like, how do I say this without offending you?
Who?
You.
That it tastes like apple juice?
No, not that. I'm talking about your gameplay of some subliminal.
No, just say it. Again, I don't. So, if in case you guys didn't know already, I'm not very well versed in the video gamosphere of the world.
Well, it's just funny because the last time I seen gameplay similar to yours, I was not too much younger, but I'll put it this way. When I was very young, I grew up watching my brother play video games. I have two brothers. And I was watching one of them play video games, and I was always enamored with the video game choices that they had. And I was enamored with how long video games can be, because it's just like, oh, this isn't like a movie or a book or an album. Like, you're settling in. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how much more complex and how much more people it takes to make a video game compared like to a movie, and you would think they'd only manage like about like an hour of gameplay, because it's just so much that goes into it, instead of just directing some humans to do this and having some props and like having some effects and then calling it a day. It's just like there's so much coordination that it's like, how are they making like 40+ hour games? It's amazing. But point being is I grew up being just like, my brother was the gamer before I've become the gamer. Mm-hmm. Therefore, he knew stuff. But one day, I was hanging out with my brother, and oh gosh, I'm trying to remember exactly what the game was. But the point being is, it was one of those games that involved moving a character with one stick and looking around with the other. Mm-hmm. And my brother's hands or his brains or whatever it was incapable of doing both sticks at the same time. Uh-huh. He'd have to like move, stop, look around, move, stop, look around. And I was just, and just to see that again, and well, I was gonna say in 2023, like the years help, but point being is like to see that now, even in my 30s, I guess I'll put it. I'm just like, I was like, there's still people where it doesn't 100% connect. Now you're getting better and better. You know, at first, like I was just like, look up. Your character's looking straight into the ground, and you're like running sideways. And I'm like, look up. You'll know where you are if you just look up. And after a while, like near the end, you're like moving them both, but you're still just like this confounded game. I don't understand. I was just like, it's a perspective shift, and you're like, oh, we're here. Beat this part.
Yeah, I was like, there was this. Okay, so this game makes no sense in a weird way. I'll be the first person to tell you I love cheese. I've never hated Gouda so much in my damn life like I did today because of this damn game. There is this little block of wax, red wax specifically, wrapped Gouda that you can enlarge according to your perception. Oh my God, it was just driving me nuts. It's like I'd look up and I think it's like maybe 4 inches long, but then it falls down and it's like, like 600 feet long. Mm-hmm. And it's like rotate. It just drove me up the wall, but I want to play it again.
Yeah. That's too bad because you're like, make a gamer out of me. And I was just like, okay, well, there's the staples, the ones that were just like, you've had to at least played once, or else, people would like kind of look at you sideways. Or it's like, we're playing some Mario games. We're playing some like classic platformers and like stuff and whatnot. And I was like, Subliminal was one of those ones where you're just like, you just take a look at the room, you solve the puzzle, And little I know that you weren't even looking at the room. You're just looking straight to the ceiling.
Yeah, because I'm like, what's the purpose here? It's like I'm in a sleep paralysis, weird trapped, contraption or whatever. But yeah, no, the game is great. It pisses me off, but it's great.
Yeah. So yeah, much more gaming to happen. Maybe some will be recorded. Just depends on
Yeah,
how schedules are like.
I was telling Victor, it'd be funny if we could record ourselves just so they could see what it's like to watch me play video
I
games.
wanted people to see Subliminal so bad.
Like,
I want people to see Unpacking.
oh, okay. Oh my God.
Never in my
Unpacking.
life did I see a man get mad at sorting. Well, not the sorting that the computer was telling you weren't done sorting quite enough.
Exactly. It's like really peaceful music, right? Like, I mean, the game itself is great. What pissed me off about that game is that I had set all the, I don't know, the stuffed animals on the bed. I put all the books on the shelf or whatever. And then this game has the audacity to tell me, oh, it doesn't go there. It's like I just spent 15 minutes unboxing random, shit, and now I got to go and reorganize it a different way. So it's just, like you would think that a stupid eraser goes in a drawer. Oh no, it goes next to a book that happens to be next to, some, workbook that happens to be next to a piggy bank. So I just thought that it was ridiculous. Ooh, is that a cat fight?
No, they're friendly right now.
Uh-oh.
See? I told you this one will initiate some playing, but once it gets a little rough, then she gets sassy. But anyways, I live with 2 cats. All you cat lovers out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But no, yeah, but praise needs to be happened with however the phrasing goes. What not due diligence. I'm bad at talking today. Anyways, we start on Mario Kart, and this man over here, first game, immediately reversed, but second race, got second place. Praise words ado,
Yes.
I think is the
cheers to that.
Is the phrase I was trying to say earlier.
Cheers to Luigi coming in second place, like he should.
You're Luigi in the Mario or the kart.
Yeah.
You're Luigi in Mario Party as well.
Oh wait, no, I was Mario in the chipmunk suit or the squirrel suit or whatever.
Oh, the Tanuki suit.
Yeah,
okay.
Snooky. You're kidding.
Tanuki suit.
Oh, I thought it was like, wow, Jersey Shore has invaded, Mario Kart.
Oh my god, your mind was blown when you realize other video game characters can be in other video games.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that, Link was an option. I was like, what the hell is this? I thought that was a Zelda game. I got that right today. I got that
there
right.
You go.
It's the Legend of Zelda.
More praise to be had.
We're going to get shit-faced today.
There we go. And, but yeah, that was our video game adventures, and it was a whole lot of fun. Can't wait to make a gamer out of you yet. So
just like we're going to make a wine taster out of you.
Oh my god, what if we went to like a as classic as they come, like arcade, like throwing quarters into machines?
Oh Christ,
and, like,
I would
machines.
have a hard time there. If that's the case, then my good sir, I am taking you to Opus 1.
Oh, I believe I've been there.
Opus 1 has a whole bunch of so if you ever get to go to Opus 1, so you can just pay your way there and simply just, and you can not behave the way you want to, but you can pay that insane, tasting fee and go and do whatever you want. Now, if you go as a member of the trade.
Oh my god, Opus 1. I just realized you're talking about, I've never been there. Anyways.
Yes, if you go as a member of the trade, there are a few unwritten rules about how you're expected to behave, what's proper, what's improper, how much you should drink, should you spit it out, what questions should you be asking, what questions should you not be asking. Take me to an arcade, Mr. Victor, and I'll be taking you to Opus 1.
Wait,
let's start.
Questions you're not allowed to ask?
There are certain questions you don't want to ask at certain wineries. What kind
of uppity ass? Sorry, Opus 1.
So, if I were somebody going to Opus 1, I would first off not say, why are you guys charging close to $400 a bottle for a bottle of wine? That is the number one way to insult a high-end winery. Usually to say, ew, this doesn't taste like it's worth $400 or $380.
Mm-hmm.
I will never forget this had to have been like maybe, if I'm actually counting, the 87th, close to 90th time I took somebody on a wine tasting with me.
Mm-hmm.
and this was one of those nicer wineries. And I was with mostly people from our company, but there was another person there that was not from the company. And this was a nicer winery, and I mean a nicer winery. So this was a back in our day PS selection in the good old days before it was the revamped section. So we're tasting all these single vineyard Pinot Noirs, and this person's just like, oh, none of these are good. And so they're writing, some childish tasting notes, like saying, this tastes, spicy. It tastes like sausage. It tastes like I think the term was a Slim Jim or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the person comes back, the tasting person, and this person's like, why are these wines so bad? Mind you, I'm the guy that made this reservation. I'm the guy that has to hold face.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember exactly what I said, but I just remember shooting this person a look, like pretty much saying, you shut the hell up right now because you have no idea what you're doing. And that person never went another tasting ever again.
Mm-hmm.
But anywho, I'd be down to go to an arcade, but patience must be required. If you thought watching me play Unpack Me or whatever the hell that game was called, it's going to be worse. I barely know how to use a remote controller or a controller. It's like a ping pong machine. Like, what the hell? There's like pluses and minuses and then little toggles and everything. Like,
Yeah.
that's gonna be hard for me. That's gonna be real hard for me.
I should break out the Wii I brought out earlier, and then we can play the grandpa games, because no matter how grandpa games those are, they're timeless. They're so fun. I
Oh
don't even
yes.
care.
So today I actually got to see what an Xbox Series X looks like. I got to establish a PS5. I got to see a Wii. I got to learn what the difference between that and a Wii U was. I also learned that the Xbox 360 is not the same thing as an Xbox Series S. And I feel like I'm forgetting another game or another console.
We talked about the Switch before.
Yeah, we were talking about the Switch. Oh, it was the Nintendo 64 and then the GameCube, about how the GameCube pretty much failed because it made things too complicated. And then the Wii was their answer to that.
Yeah, so for those who are just like, oh, well what? Like, elaborate. I was telling Victor about like how Nintendo is sort of kind of have like this established formula for how their like business go, because they're originally a Hanafuda playing card company, and then they sort of broke out. Ooh. Yeah, so I was explaining to Victor the other day kind of how like Nintendo works, their philosophy for how kind of how they make their game consoles. Because before, when they were making like Hanafuda playing cards, and then like transition to making toys, they were just like, oh, the toys have to be like simple and like easy to grasp from like the very first time you see them. And they try to do that with their video game consoles, where like they made the Famicom, and which is a Japanese Nintendo Entertainment System. It looked weird and funky. I'll show you a picture of it someday. It's so wacky. It's like kind of imagine like how the Switch is now. You know how you can take the controllers off the sides?
Mm-hmm.
Their first iteration of that was like, it was regular normal Nintendo Entertainment controllers with the two buttons and the D-pad, but it was like it can slide into itself on the sides of the consoles, and to play you just pull them up and then hit the switch and everything turns on. It's kind of interesting. But the first time they made an American console, they're just like, make it look like an appliance, make it look like a VCR.
Mm-hmm.
That way at first glance everyone gets it. And then from then on, they just kept making their consoles more complicated until they got to like the N64 and GameCube, where it's just like, the N64 has like 3 handles for a controller, and like the GameCube has like mix match size buttons and like I don't understand. And like those were their more lower selling consoles and stuff. So when they came back to the drawing board with the Wii, they're like, look, this needs to target a video game audience that no one's going for, which is older people.
Us now.
Yeah. The older people, the average Joes, the people who've never played video games before. That is an untapped video game market that no one's looking at, because
I feel so special.
They're mainly targeting like children, and like, even though a lot of games are M-rated, it's just like, those aren't children. The ESRB specifically tags the the front of the box with 18 plus, so or 17 plus, but after that, they're just like, okay, we're gonna make a controller. It just looks like a TV remote. You look at it and you're like, oh, do I point this at the screen? Yes, you do. It has a little IR blaster in the front, so when you point at it, the little pointer shows up, and you're like, oh, cool, I know what I'm pointing at. And it has like one big button in the front and one big button in the back, and you're just like, those are the only two buttons I need.
Sounds like a dream.
And it's just like, oh, how do I play? How do I throw a bowling ball? The same motion you throw a bowling ball, and like been in all retirement homes across America for the since. So that's how Nintendo has been since. They're just like, let's do the exact same thing with the Wii U, and then everyone got confused because it was the same console name but with one letter tacked on the end. And it's just like, it's an upgrade. It's like, no, it's a new console. I don't need a new console. I have my old one, and then sales dropped. So.
But it kind of does give me the idea, though, that, like, the popularity of the Switch is just insane. Like, for such a little package, it delivers so much.
Yeah. Like, when it first came out, it was like an old idea done correctly. Because there are so many people who are just like, I'm taking my console-like games on the go. And that's what the original Game Boy was. It's just like, hey, you can play it, Mario on the screen, but now Mario's in my hands. And ever since then, people are just like, all my games should just always be on me. And it reiterated from here, from like the Game Gear to the PlayStation Portable and the Vita, like all that stuff, until finally they were just like, all right, what about the ultimate no compromise, which is you're playing your games on the screen, and you literally just grab your console and then leave the house, and it's the exact same game.
That is insane.
You don't need to buy two different consoles to have a similar experience. Just have the one experience and just grab it whenever the hell you feel like it. And like everyone like lost their minds, including me. And now we got spoiled so fast because the Switch came out and everyone was in awe, and everyone was like, every single game should be designed this way to just go whenever you're going. And then it only took 5 years to be like, is it better now? Is it more powerful? Can I have games that look like Cyberpunk and The Witcher and GTA on the go? And it's just like, well, the Switch is a little underpowered for that because it's small and portable. And having that much power draw means your battery life would be like 30 minutes. And do you really want that? And it's just like, I guess you're right. And then the Steam Deck came out, and then it again turned everyone's thoughts upside down and be like, see, it is possible. And like, so now we're all selfish.
So the Steam Deck is what?
Oh, let me show you the Steam Deck. Let me grab it.
So small intermission here. So I've dedicated a lot of today to learning about video games, consoles, and all that other fun stuff. So when I finally got to see what an Xbox X Series is versus a PS5, which I'm looking at right now, I also learned that, there are different controllers, but what was irritating about playing Subliminal was the fact that the A, B buttons are switched from the... Oh, Christ. I'm sorry, Victor. I think the Switch is made by Nintendo, so the controller that I used to play the Nintendo games, I think the A was on the bottom and the B was on the top, but then when we were playing on the Xbox, the B button was on the bottom and the A was on top. So when I was playing Subliminal, it just totally just backfired on me like insanely bad. I just did not know what I was doing. Oh, what the hell is this? Did I see the PlayStation logo on the back of that thing? Oh my god, that looks like a keyboard.
Back. So I know everyone knows what a Switch is because it's one of the highest selling consoles of this generation, but we went from like this thing, very thin, very small, very portable. Haha, the controllers come off. Very fun. But then, like I said, in 5 years, people got very
entitled,
very entitled, very ungrateful, very fast because they were just like, this is awesome, but the controllers need to feel like controllers and they need to play more powerful games. And the Switch does not do that. And then people thought, oh, maybe it's just not possible to have something that small. And then Valve, who's known for making computer games, not console games, things that you have to like, play with mouse and keyboard instead of a controller. We're just like, what if we make a console that still runs PC games, but make them as accessible as consoles? And then they made this thing, which is called a Steam Deck. Now, it looks like a Switch, but it has big, comfortable controller grips and plays the most powerful games ever in a very small package. And people are like, oh, it is possible. And then we got greedy ever since. You're just like, now the PS6 and the Xbox has to be like this, which, sure, but like, I don't know.
Kid you not, my keypad is smaller than this thing for my computer. Like, that is insanely huge. Oh my God. Just for perspective, do you want to hold that next to that?
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh my good God. I could see myself playing on that thing, portably speaking. This is just like...
Yeah. This will never be beat for portability. Like, even the new version of this, which people thought was going to have more power, like maybe like almost as much power as this one. They ended up not doing it. What they ended up doing was making the exact same thing with a slightly bigger screen. And instead of people being mad, being like, oh, Nintendo fucking burned us, they just went, actually, yeah, I like bigger screens. And I love that this throws into my backpack and I can just go. This, you're going to need to buy a slightly bigger backpack.
Yeah, that's huge. And again, maybe it plays well. You could play, your more intense games with that.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
But it's just humongous.
I wish I had stands for the rest of the show. I should get stands for, like, we'll have our featured bottles and we'll have our
featured consoles.
Little game consoles.
Today we're going to talk about the PS5. That thing is pretty huge, though. I don't know if it fit up there.
Oh, yeah, it might break the table in half. Okay,
so for your wine geeks, as this thing opens up, it's reminding me a lot of this pretty nice bottle called Carte Blanche, specifically from the UV Vineyard out in Sonoma County. Ooh. Oh my God, I'm forgetting that.
It's getting fruitier as we're waiting.
Yeah, it's like getting like this cotton candy, lime peel, salty, but still like appley, green appley kind of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice. And again, a whopping $25 at the market in Fresno, by the way.
Well, what was it that your mind was slipping for a second on?
The Carte Blanche bottling of the Chardonnay from the UV Vineyard. I want to say it's from the Sonoma Coast, but it could be from the Russian River Valley.
Okay.
I need to circle back on that. But anywho, that's what that's reminding me of. And that's about a $80, $90 bottle that you can get the same flavors almost, for $25.
That's almost the price of a very expensive game for the Steam Deck. So, oh yeah.
That's insane. But anywho, shall we get started on beverage number 2?
Oh yeah. So, well, I was trying to take the helm, being like, I can introduce a drink, and I felt like I flopped a little bit. So go ahead.
So this right here is the Hakutsuru Sayuri Nigori Sake. So this is the one that we decided to pair with.
That was with the game Yakuza.
Oh, there we go.
I remember I struggled with finding an anime for it, and I ended up saying like Lelouch the Rebellion because it's about like the conquering of Japan by a fake European country, and then like they prevail, but only through really dramatic means. So.
Oh, and by the way, so this isn't Snow Maiden. I'm sorry, you guys, but I couldn't find any. This was the best one that they had. So this goes for about $15 a bottle. So it's not cheap because when you think about it, this is only about, what is it, 400 milliliters? 300 milliliters.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to get a full-size bottle, this would probably be about $35, $40.
Right.
So look at this. Just like horchata.
Yeah. Very, very milky in look.
So
is it milky in texture? We'll see.
Do we say origato?
Origato. Cheers in Japanese is kanpai.
Kanpai. Hentai. No. Kanpai sensei.
don't start this again.
No, senpai. There we go. That's what it is. That's what I was trying to say.
There we go.
Oh my God. It's just like milky or ricey. The burn is very low. Ricey. Acid fairly low. Texture really rich.
Yeah.
Like the graininess isn't really, noticeable much.
I was about to say it's like a low density
grind on there.
Grain, so it's like it won't bother you at all.
Now, food pairing for this, I mean, it's pretty much commonplace that, most Japanese food is pretty much common with this. I would say if you wanted to go for some kind of sushi, I would highly suggest, your more fattier fishes. So think of like your salmon, think of your hibachi or hamachi, think of like your river water trout, that kind of stuff. Maybe a little tiny bit of wasabi and a little dabbling of like, eel rolls would probably be really good with that. But yeah, so now let's move on to the meat of the episode, our
Yeah,
favorite part.
There we go. So, welcome to our namesake pairing part of the show. Here we go. So, I forgot who usually goes first. I think I usually go first. So I've been thinking about a game.
Feel cool like you too.
That's been coming out, and eventually, I will talk about older games that I have played and games I've been meaning to talk about. But we're planning this show well beyond just a few episodes that we have planned right now. We're hoping this goes on for a long time, so I have plenty of time to talk about all the games. But I'm gonna talk about an upcoming game. An upcoming game that's sort of in a very, very, very small way is similar to the Mass Effect that we tried out earlier today. It is a space game. It is a story-based space game. It is a back-end heavy story game. Now let me explain those things to you. Because I'm talking about a video game called Starfield that is coming out from Bethesda Softworks, published by Bethesda as well, who is now owned by Microsoft, but that's a different conversation to have that I'm slightly upset about.
Oh.
But let me explain those things. So it's story based in a way that kind of like Mass Effect, there's various things that you can say and do and have actions to that affect the story and how people like perceive you and how the world kind of changes around you. Again, it's space because it literally involves the entire breadth of what space can be, at least metaphorically, where it's just like there's a lot of emptiness and there's a lot of vastness, but there's planet hopping.
Interesting.
There is colonies to see. There is dogfights. Space dogfights. There is ship customizing. There is suit customizing. There are space weapons. All sorts of crazy ass stuff. And that last one, which is a little more interesting, but is very common in Bethesda games, as I said, it's very back-end heavy. And that sort of goes back to the story implementation part that I mentioned earlier, which is the way Bethesda develops their story-heavy games is that usually when you do an action, there are specific factors that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what makes that different, first of all, is that there's usually, in a very linear game, there's usually the way one story chapter ends just means that it splits into two different directions. Either you did it as a bad person and you're just bad for the rest of the game. You did it as a good person. You're a good person for the end of the game. But the way that this works is, let's say you kill someone.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, hey, I don't like you. Bop you in the head. That person's dead.
Mm-hmm.
If that person happens to be a weapon trader for a large corrupt organization, they have a bounty on your head now. The boss will hate you. The boss will send probably assassins to go after you. And if you did it in a particular area, now that place is now more dangerous because now there's headhunters scouring, kicking down doors, just trying to find you. Mm-hmm. And you made the area hurt, which makes the town hate you. The town's like, you made life harder for us. And then that might encourage a private citizen in that town to be like, hey, I hate you too. And there's now a small activated, otherwise wouldn't be, side mission of a guy who's trying to turn you in himself. And then you'll speak to this person and you're like, hey, I hate you. I'm here to fight you, turn you in because my family's in danger.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, whoa, 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 whoa. First of all, there's no way you can kill me. Because I'm fucking like level 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever weird video game reason. How about instead I protect you? And you start this whole other side mission where you're just like, okay, let me figure out this guy's story. This guy has a very intricate, complicated backstory. By the way, this is examples so far. I don't know how the actual game's going to turn out, but this is how Bethesda games usually are. Let me continue.
Yes.
And then you'll help this guy, and then that makes the hen hunters get more mad at you because they're like, hey, this guy was in town. The family and the wife, or the wife and the kids of this family is now protected, but the guy died for it. And none of that would have happened if you just chose not to murder that person. So it's not so much like a weird blanket, like overarching story written for one decision. It like actually affects random small NPCs in the world. Very specific, very detailed, very articulate in that way. And the only way to support systems like that is to have this big back end that obviously no one sees. It's all just computer programming, ones and zeros and stuff like that. That keeps track of all this like data of everything you've ever done,
mm-hmm.
which makes for a very personalized story to the point where you can talk to a friend who's played the exact same game for the exact same amount of hours, who's done generally somewhat the same things, and you'll be like, hey, I ran into this story where like this guy was trying to turn me in, but instead I helped his family. And the guy who's like, wait, I've done that mission. That didn't happen to me. It's like, oh, why? It's like, oh, why not? Did you not kill that one guy? He's like, no, why would I have killed that one guy? Instead, I let him live, and the headhunters aren't mad at me. And if anything, the mayor of the town sent me on a completely different direction. And it's like, oh, it's because of that one tiny decision that I've had a 100% completely different experience from you, even though we're in the exact same place in the exact same game.
Wow.
Just by the small, minute details. Like I've had experience in Bethesda games where it's just like you've probably like unceremoniously like murdered someone. This is an actual example from like a Skyrim game where I've unceremoniously like killed someone, and therefore this underground shady like assassins like just underground group comes out of nowhere and they try to recruit me because they think I'm just like that crazy. And it's just like that would have never happened if you mostly are a good person who only kills in self-defense.
God
Like
damn.
like if you never unjustly murder someone, you will never meet that recruiter ever in your save. Never, you can play 100 hours and you'll never meet them if you're just always a good person. Anyways, so that's just how Bethesda games work. What Starfield actually is a spacefaring adventure where you're just hopping planet from planet, just trying to figure out like your own personal story. And you meet people along the way who you may or may not be met by the same people in your friend group.
Holy hell.
And yeah, I mean, there's more things to go into, obviously, but that's just how big the game is. You like man, like there are people who would play these types of games from Bethesda. They will have 6 separate saves, all 200 hours logged into them, and they're completely different from the last time they played the game.
Just because they went with a different scenario in some situation.
In some random situation, some point in their game, they just made one slight different decision, and then they just went and completely. It's almost like branching multiverses, where like if you break the timeline somewhere, it branches off into 30 different things. It's like that, but a video game.
Well, I'll be darned. Yeah. So something to pair with that. Holy hell.
Do you have do you have wines that are like space but like D&D?
So I don't think I have a specific bottling of wine that could match a story like that. But when you were telling me about all those different variables, about all the different possibilities depending or contingent upon one action resulting in the effect of a different one, there were a few grapes that did come to mind. But with just one choice resulting in two drastic different outcomes, it only ends up boiling to about two different grapes.
Mhm.
And now there is one specific grape that can almost never register a unanimous result.
Oh.
As in, like, two people can taste the same exact wine, and there is a very high chance that one person is going to say, ugh, this tastes like dirt. And another person's going to say, oh my gosh, this smells like flowers. While another person's going to say, why does this taste like root beer? And then another person will be like, oh my God, this is milk chocolate. Do you want to take a stab at what grape does this?
Oh. Is it a red?
It is a red.
Is it a Merlot?
Not a Merlot.
Damn it.
This is the diva of the wine world. To quote a very funny line that we actually heard recently, this is a grape that will say, oh my gosh, it's gone up 1 degree, I'm gonna die now. As in, like, if you are growing this grape and for some fraction of a minute, like your temperature goes up 1 degree more than it should, this specific grapevine will say, I'm gonna die now. Bye-bye, see you next year. That grape's name is Pinot Noir.
Oh.
And Pinot Noir is by far the most wild card of all the grapes. Because depending where it's grown, on what slope it's grown, at what exposure to the sun it's grown, and on the moisture content in the air where it's grown, you can get insanely different results from the same damn vineyard. So one example that I have of that is there is the Bien Nacido vineyard down in the Santa Maria Valley. So this is one of the most beautiful vineyards in the entire state of California. But they have their typical just estate Pinot Noir. So it's a blend of all their different sections in their vineyard. But where it gets fun is that there are also block designates. So there's like a block 8, there's a block 10, there's like the La Encantada portion of it, there's like, the Rinconada portion of it. Um, and it's weird because all these little subsections are part of that same exact vineyard. But even growing just 2 feet away, because one's at 2 feet higher and one's at 2 feet lower, you get one that tastes like walnuts and persimmons, and you get another one that tastes like cinnamon and honey. It's ridiculously weird. So I would say for pairing a wine with that, I would say there are a few different regions you should go shopping for Pinot Noir in. The first one would be the unanimous recommendation, Burgundy, France. Only in Burgundy. Well, so warning on this: you can spend hundreds of dollars on a bottle of wine from Burgundy, and it still won't be good. Burgundy is a minefield where I feel like for every 25 bottles of wine that I buy, I get one that's genuinely good.
Oh, wow.
As in, you spend a lot of money trying to buy one good bottle of wine with Burgundy. So if you have the funds, go for it. But if you don't, I would say you're better off shopping in the Sonoma Coast, where our good old Crossbarn is sourced from, or going down to Santa Barbara County. The Russian River Valley can also produce some, Pinot Noirs of differing degrees. But also Oregon. Oregon makes some ridiculously good Pinot Noirs, and they're usually a little bit fraction cheaper. So yeah, I'd say for that specific game, Pinot Noir would be my ruling.
I visited Oregon once.
Ooh, Portland, Oregon.
Mhm.
Did you go to Voodoo Donuts?
I tried to. The line was. I think we success. I'm gonna have to ask Nicole if we successfully battled the line.
Yeah, that I remember when the last time I went to Oregon, we went to Voodoo Donuts, and I was with some of my friends. And the shitty part is that we went right after we got off the airplane. We hadn't eaten anything,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like I think I got the oh my god,
Grand line's the worst.
yeah, whatchamacallit, we got the what is that very famous bubble gum that's like a little cylinder that's wrapped in bright pink and yellow wrapping. And I think
Bubba?
no, not Hubba Bubba. It has like wax wrapping around each individual one.
Big League Chew?
No, it's like your classic. Like it's only sweet for like 10 seconds, and then it like becomes this nasty thing. It's like hot pink. Yeah, no, it's not Bubblicious and it's not Hubba Bubba. It's like I can imagine. I can already see like there's like about this wide, and it's wrapped with like bright yellow, and I think it's either blue or pink wrapping.
It just sounds like Hubba Bubba again.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
sorry.
not. I don't think it's Hubba Bubba. But there was a donut that was flavored like that.
Yeah.
Overly sweet. Just my God, I could not do it. I was like, I need protein. I need vegetables. I need liquids. Damn it, I can't just eat a donut. So I don't think I appreciate it as much as I should have.
Yeah.
And then the shady part is that like just one street down to the right was like a whole bunch of drug deals going on. And I'm like, yeah, take me back to my hotel, please.
I want to go back again.
I
love this place.
would love to go back to Oregon, but just specifically for the wine country out there.
Especially like it's funny because like we visit like Seattle, Washington, right?
Oh yeah, you told me about Biscuit Bitch. That's how I ended up going.
That's right. And then the next time we were in the area, it was specifically for Portland, and we went to go do our specific thing that we went there for. I forgot what it was, and then like like I would say 3/8 into the trip, we're like, should we drive up to Seattle? It's like completely abandoned. To be fair, we did have an immaculate breakfast at a place that that post director will put down right here, and like all this other stuff that we had fun with. But I think we're just more Seattle people.
I think so too. For like doing the fun touristy stuff, I would say Seattle's more fun. For doing the wine stuff, I think Oregon's more fun. Because you just pretty much just drive like 45 minutes west of Portland and you're in the middle of the Willamette Valley.
Who's the Shoots in? Was it Oregon?
Who's the what?
The Shoots, the beer.
Oh, yeah, that's Bend, Oregon, I think.
Okay, yeah. That was the other place.
Actually, no, I think it is Portland.
That was the other place I visited.
I actually went to Deschutes. That is in Portland, right? Because I went to Deschutes, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. That's Oregon.
Wow, my memory's fading me.
Mostly because I was talking to a Deschutes person beforehand, and they went like, "Oh yeah, you should go." And then I talked to a completely different one like years afterwards, and I was just like, "Oh yeah, I went to Seattle to Deschutes," and they're like, "You mean Oregon?" I'm just like, "Yeah, sorry."
Yeah, I've done that same mistake as well. One time I told somebody they should go to Biscuit Bitch in Portland, and they're like, "That's Washington, you know that, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know that. I'm just testing you."
Yeah.
It's like, of course I know. I've been there. I went to the one in the Capital District, I think.
That's stupid. What do you think? But anyways, yeah. Fantastic.
So yeah, for that game, I'd say go with the word of the day is terroir. Have you heard of that word, Victor?
No, teach me.
So terroir is this ubiquitous, infuriating, polarizing word that is used to define, in the wine world at least, the place where a wine comes from. Now, it's not to say that it's just the land, like the actual dirt that it comes from, but it's supposed to involve like the weather, the history, the biodiversity of the vineyard.
Yeah.
It encompasses the soul of the vineyard. I think it's a hot pile of garbage. I do think that, there are distinct regions in the world where, a grape will show differently, but I don't think it has to do anything with terroir. I think it has to do with the climate. If you grow Pinot Noir in a hot climate, it's going to taste like shit. If you grow Pinot Noir where it's cold, it's going to taste delicious. Now, when you have different cool climates, like, say, Oregon, the Sonoma Coast, the Santa Rita Hills, or even, the central coast of California, something like Monterey or like San Luis Obispo County, there will be differences there. But again, I don't think it's because, the dust fairies, Paso or of Arroyo Grande versus the San Ynez Valley are doing different things. No, I think it's just the climate. That's all it is. Crucify me, YouTube all you want, but I don't think terroir is a real term. But I use it because it makes the most sense when I'm telling somebody like, oh yeah, that's the reason why. The terroir. Oh my God, I hate that term. Just like I do vibes. Ugh.
Oh.
It's like, I have beef with something called natural wine. Have you heard of that?
Just for the sake of keeping the podcast going, just tell me. I feel like I know this rant.
So, oh my goodness, yes. I think. Have you ever smelled a mouse or a rat?
Yes, actually.
That's what those wines taste like.
We had a catch and release one back in my old house.
Yes, that's what those wines taste like. They are point blank mousy. They either have, the aromas of nail varnish, of, WD-40, or a rat. all because they're fermented with indigenous yeast and they don't use sulfites. I think that is the most unholy, unpure, just disgusting type of wine made out there.
Okay, so let me get this straight. When we would have customers at our undisclosed mutual job, and they'd walk up to you and be like, "Hey, I'm looking for a wine with no sulfates, and it's natural."
Yes.
How hard are you rolling your eyes at them?
I think it's worse when I get somebody asking me, do you have any vegan wines?
Uh-huh.
I mean, yes, some wineries use egg whites and other fining agents, but, if you are not eating something or drinking something because 0.113% of the liquid is derived of an egg, I don't know what to tell you. But the natural wine thing, it's just ridiculous. So most wine is made with water, grapes, yeast, sulfites, and wood compounds. That's all that goes in there.
Mhm.
A lot of people, especially of the natural wine crowd, tend to believe that, these things are manipulated, lab created Frankensteins that are then bottled, and give you, a whole bunch of ailments and headaches and blah, 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 blah. No.
So they think that historic wine techniques that are before those technology of making things cheaper and faster and in stainless steel and stuff like that is not good.
Yes. So I will say this. So if your wine is less than $10 a
It's not
bottle,
natural.
there's a high chance that it has other stuff that is not kosher for a wine like that. But if your wine is over, say, 15, 20 bucks, there's a good chance that it's only made with water, yeast, grapes, sulfites, and some wood compounds derived from the barrel.
Oh, do you remember? I mean, I'm sure it still happens, but do you remember the stories of like fucking like woke warriors being just like, oh man, like what would they do? They would throw away the mouse traps in wineries because they're like, oh, you're hurting rats.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about
And it's
that.
just like, do you understand? Okay, yeah.
So there are also wineries that practice something called biodynamics, and that to summarize biodynamics for you, depending where the moon is placed, they will fill a cow horn with manure and bury it somewhere in the ground, and then dig it back up at a certain time of the year when the moon is aligned somewhere else, and pretty much scatter the remains through the vineyards. There is documentation that biodynamic practices are good for the vineyard, but I think that has to do more with the fact that you're using less pesticides than you ordinarily would. Now, there are other wineries, this one shall not be named, that tend to believe that, okay, I do believe that wine is a living thing, but I don't think it is a sentient being in that sense. There is a winery that I will not disclose that actually, while it is in the barrel fermenting, they bring in a professional gong player to play the gong for the barrels of fermenting wine. I'm not even kidding. If I had not seen the gong being played myself in this winery, I would have been like, you're full of shit.
You saw that?
You are in a room full of barrels, and there is this person that's wearing, some fancy pants clothes, and this gong that is probably taller than that passage in your door, and it's just strike, and then you hear the bong. For the first 10 seconds that I was witnessing that, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then like at the 12th second, I just wanted to bust out laughing because I'm like, the level of stupidity is just off the charts. Like, what kind of cosmic entities are you bringing down upon this barrel with this gong being played?
Like, maybe if there was just like somewhat like vague, like vague understanding of like, the loose science where it's just like, oh, the vibrations that this gong takes kind of like helps.
There might be something to that.
But like, just be like, the vibes are off.
Again, now I hate the word vibes.
But,
in more millennial run wineries, I'm starting to see this shit all over the damn place.
And gosh, and I think I want to be clear. and I don't know if I'm just speaking for myself that like we understand that nowadays there are some old ways of thinking that like should probably like turn the wayside and be like why we believe this for so long, like we should be respecting more people and their beliefs and
Yes,
and who they
I
think they
agree.
are
Yes.
and like and also and all sorts of ways of thinking. But when it just comes out to just plain like dodging the logic, I don't know how to put this. Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
put it this way. Like, if you came across an individual who, knew or made video games, but they said that they only did this, to, I don't know, please the vibrations in the computer because at this certain time of the day, the computer was processing things in a more clear way. So it would lead to less bugs. Would you believe that for 1 minute?
Oh no. There's probably people who are just like there are people who would be like computers need to operate at like absolute sub-zero like temperatures and stuff. And it's just like I get that that there's the understanding that we need to cool our computers so they last longer and run better, but heat is actually good for computers. Heat is needed for computers to function nominally. We're cooling them so they don't overheat. So
Precisely.
if there's someone who's just like, we need constant blocks of ice on our computers, it's like, no, you just need some water or air.
That's all you need. And again, I'm not waging a war against natural wines or biodynamics. I mean, I do have friends that do drink natural wines, and I try my best to keep an open mind when I'm drinking them, but I just don't see it.
That's what I was trying to put across earlier.
It's,
We're open minded, but once we
yeah.
see it, we're just like, okay.
And
Disagree.
if there are any natural wine wineries out there that think you can change my mind, please send us stuff. We'll be happy to pop it here, taste it live on here, give you our honest feedback,
And if you're like, screw you, I'm not giving you anything for free. Why don't you do this on my turf? Invite us to your winery.
Yeah, exactly. I have no problem telling you that, yeah, this wine is not for me. It's not my fault that, and maybe again, this is old thinking, but when I have a cup of coffee, I just wanted to have coffee. Like, I don't need 16 pumps of this or 23 pumps of that, with 3 tablespoons of that, or, something else added to it. It's like, no, when I want a cup of coffee, I just want a cup of damn coffee. When I want a glass of Chardonnay, I just want a Chardonnay that is to the point, delicious, brisk, clean, and refreshing.
I will say I do want my coffee with all that shit.
Well, I mean, again, and there are wines for that, They're called sangrias, or, they're called wine mixers, and there's that stuff out there, But again, they don't pretend to be something they're not.
Oh my god. Can we please have an episode that's like an hour straight of hating on Capriccio? Like, fuck that shit.
You guys don't know the suffering that we went through with that godforsaken beverage.
Fucking hate Capriccio.
The trauma, the abuse, the just Delarac, just insanity of that beverage. I have PTSD. I do.
What was the other one? It was like Zima or something.
Yeah, Zimas. Oh, you old timers. You old timers. That was a straight blast from the past.
I'm getting hot just laughing.
I feel like my blood pulse or my pulse just increasing from the moment you said Capriccio, because that reminds me of getting nonstop calls every hour. And the worst part is a lot of these people looking for that wine were not the happiest. Oh no, the other one was Taylor Port. I forgot about that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that one wasn't anywhere near as bad because that one, there are better ports out there. Capriccio, there's nothing else like that out there,
No.
It's just, it's like the Four Locos of the sangrias.
The worst day of my life was when an undisclosed coworker of our mutual undisclosed work environment said to the phone, I don't know when that comes in, but you can ask our receiver whenever that comes in.
Oh,
And
no.
I got calls for like 5 weeks straight.
From that same person.
Who would call, because obviously there's no direct line to receivers, so they would just call me like,
Is Victor there?
Is the receiver in today? It's like, yeah, let me transfer you to him. Victor, the phone's for you. I'm like, no one, and then
no one ever calls me.
And then we'll do the little run around where it's just like, which Victor?
Yeah. Oh, I love doing that little run around.
But anyways, once it was established it was me, and because people are always asking for you because you're the man, and I'm just the dude in the back, I'll be like, I wouldn't listen to the radio and be like, Victor, drop Capriccio, it's actually for you. I'm like, huh? Do you have Capriccio? I'm like,
No.
no.
When's it coming in?
What?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I won't know for at least a few days before it ships. Okay, thank you. Or what? No, Capriccio.
Yeah.
But anyways,
It was a horrible, and there is no amount of words that could truly put in how horrible of an environment that job was during that time.
and they but this is the last thing we'll say about it, by the way. And they claim they only told that one couple, but for
No,
some reason it was like 6 different people
that would keep calling you.
who would specifically ask for the receiver for Capriccio. I'm like, yeah, right. You told everybody to call me.
That's just horrible, nasty, nasty stuff.
Okay. One last thing I'll say for Starfield, only because I'm really excited about it, and it's out September 6th.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming up then.
Yeah, so I can't wait to start playing. Is that everything I describe is just how like the system of the game functions in the back end.
Mhm.
Like the adventure is just like, you see pretty graphics and guns and but on the back end it's just like saving everything you do. So the world effects around you. But what I didn't mention is like all the customization, all the different guns you can have, all the cool thing. You can build your spaceship to look like a giant robot.
Oh,
Or you can just build it like a traditional like little thing, or you can try to like replicate some like Star Wars ships, or you can just endless customization to what you can do to your suit, your weapons, and your spaceship and all that. And then there's also like not powers, just like different like abilities, or it's just like, oh, I want my spaceman to have like a fucking a jetpack that like jumps me like fucking like 100 feet across the fucking across the field, and then shotgun someone in the back, like all this stuff. So this is endless fun gameplay. But again, I'm just saying this to be excited. I still think the wine selection is very valid, and yeah, let's.
okay. You ready for this pairing?
Yes, I'm ready.
Alrighty. So recently, I was able to go to this historic winery called Joseph Swan up in, I think they are in Forestville, up in the Russian River Valley, up in Sonoma County. Joseph Swan used to be ran by some guy named Joseph Swan. Sadly, he passed away, I want to say, in the late 90s, early 2000s. So with this specific bottling, what happened, or with this specific winery, what happened is that once Mr. Swan passed away, his son-in-law actually took over the winery. Some people will say that the quality of the wine has dipped. I don't think so. I think that the wines from Joseph Swan are still fantastic and delicious. Um, but the specific one that I had here was, believe it or not, it was a 2018 Valdiguie coming out of the Russian River Valley. The best way I could describe that wine, it was refreshing, it was juicy, it tasted like a fresh blackberry with like maybe some blueberry juice. And like the oddest little bit of pomegranate with like a bergamot citrus peel kind of finish to it. I had that with an In-N-Out burger, and it was marvelous. And I mean, absolutely marvelous. Now, if I wanted to play a video game and drink that wine, so I like to drink it lightly chilled. And again, it just, for lack of a better term, it literally just tastes like Welch's grape juice without sugar. It is so easy to drink, so refreshing, so clean, so fruity, high acid, no bitterness, just the epitome of like freshness. If I wanted to summarize like, summer dark fruits like plums, like cherries, pomegranates, and, blackberries, that would be the one I would do it with. If I wanted to play a video game with that or watch a movie, what would you suggest?
Let's see.
Oh, and the label does have a really pretty swan on there, if that helps at all.
I think I remember it. I'm not sure I had it myself though. Oh boy, I mean, there's a lot of just.
And I'll put a big emphasis on fresh, fruity summer vibes. Wait, fresh vibes.
Now I'm starting to get angry at you.
Why? Because I'm vibing over here.
You're just straight vibing, and I can't handle it. Oh my good gosh. Let's see. I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of a summary anime.
Ooh.
That's just like That's just like kind of like pure vibes. Now, here's the thing. The vibes have to be like spot on because here's the thing. When you think about, my dear listener, my dear viewer, when you're thinking about anime, you're probably thinking of ridiculous things like fan service shots of like some boobage. Maybe some guy has like some like low god views going on or something like that. Maybe someone's calling someone senpai, but they're only like 6 years old. Whatever. All the weird anime bullshit.
6 years old. Wow.
I'm over exaggerating, but sure. But I'm thinking of an anime that's very summery, very vibes, very, very Welch grapes with very little
Bitterness
and alcohol's going on. But oh, it works. It works. And the anime is called Horimiya.
How do you spell that?
It's like one of those ship names. You know what a ship name is?
Ship name?
So, oh my God, I'm really realizing at this very second that our ship name would be fucking difficult because we have the exact same name.
What is a ship name?
A ship name is when you like a couple so much that aren't actually a couple, but want them to be, that you would ship them, meaning you would put them together and send them on their merry way.
And what, you combine their names?
And you combine their names. So
it's easy.
So
what happens when you put Victor and Victor together?
It's just Victor.
It's literally just Victor. The VIC from your name and the TOR from mine. Or the VIC from my name and the TOR from yours.
Our ship name is Victor. Excellent. So,
or if we wanted to go, we could go Vic Man.
Oh.
Because we both have the same damn middle name too.
That's right. There we go. Vic Man.
Or we could go Man Vic.
I was even weirder.
Man Vic. Man Vic the Vic Man. Or Victor the Man Vic. No, it's going to be, oh no, that's going to go bad. So for all intents and purposes, let's just say it's Victor. It's like you get 2 for the price of 1.
Okay. So Horimiya is a ship name because it is the last name of the 2 characters, which is Miyamura and Hori-san. And so their names together is just Horimiya. It's just H-O-R-I. No. Yeah. H-O-R-I-M-I-Y.
Horimiya.
Yes. And it is a show about a couple, but not really. Because it is a show about a couple who happens to be in high school. And they have a big group of friends that all just get along.
Oh.
Now, that's not to say that there isn't romance or drama to the show. It happens, but it's like the most low-key drama of a non-toxic friend group. Where sometimes there'll be a misunderstanding.
It's like the Unpack Me of the animes?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
look
God, look at me learning.
So if there are dramatic animes where like there's a misunderstanding about let's say
Naruto.
For example, sure, let's try to find an example of Naruto where fucking Sakura just thinks that Naruto never really gave a shit about her feelings for whatever
or
goddamn reason.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Kaiba seems to have some deep-seated hatred towards Yugi.
Yeah, sure. And there'd just be a misunderstanding, and then, like it would be like 3 episodes long, and you roll your eyes and be like, "Come on, can we just get back to the fights and stuff like that?" Horimiya has the most low-key drama possible, where it's just like, "Hey, how come you call one friend by their first name but not me?"
Huh.
And it's just like, I didn't realize you wanted that. Sorry. It's okay. Do. And that's the end of the episode.
Wow, so it's like the Blackberry got a blemish, but it's okay.
And there'll be romance where it's just like, hey, I think we should hold hands. And it's just like, that sounds great. But
Okay, so it's just simple to the point.
It is simple to the point, non-toxic. And they call these kind of animes slice of life because as the name implies, it's just like you're just peering into like a window of like an anime character's life, like it would happen to any other person. So like maybe my slice of life episode is just like I wake up, I play some video games before work, I go to work, and I have a pretty good, okay time at work, and I come home and I'm just like I had a good time at work, and then I go to bed. That'd be my slice of life episode where nothing really happens, but it's mildly interesting to the point where if you care about me as an anime character, you'd just be like, I like that Victor has nice days at work.
Aw.
And that's how those kind of shows work. So even if there's no bitterness, even if there's like a nice, pleasant, hidden element to the alcohol, but you know you're getting a little bit back.
Yeah. That is literally Valdiguie summed up.
There you go.
Valdiguie is just this playful, simple, refreshing, really easy to drink, simple wine.
There you go. And that's what horror movie is. But it's just like it's not everyone's cup of tea, especially if you're like really into Dragon Ball Z, or a bunch of action and punching and energy,
like
and
you have
shirts ripping.
Yeah, but you have like Pinot Noir, you have Syrah, you have Chenin for all that complexity. Sometimes you just want something easy.
That's just right. And
That's
like,
non-combative.
and maybe you're playing something like Hades, where it's just like nonstop, just brutal button mashing and Twitch gameplay, where you're just like the very millisecond that you have to dodge, you have to do it, or else you're gonna get hit, kind of stuff. It's like sure you can have all that stuff, but
Or you could have Unpack Me.
if you want to play Unpack Me, if you want to watch Horror Mia, if you want to have this bottle,
Yeah.
you go for it. You take it easy. You kick your feet up, and you have a good time.
It's just nice to have something not stress you out. And I feel that's literally Joseph Swan Valdiguie to me. It's a reliable bottle of wine that I can enjoy with a cheeseburger just like I can, with a bag of chips. And again, it's just literally a slice of life. I mean, it just captures summertime fruitiness in a bottle of wine and tastes great.
Mhm.
And now the Joseph Swan Valdiguie goes for like about 30-ish bucks. Now there is another winery by the name of J Lore that makes a fantastic Valdiguie for like 13 bucks, 14 bucks. That Valdiguie is absolutely outstanding, like just refreshing, really easy to drink. So that you can easily find on a budget. And I mean, oh my God, that Valdiguie is just so good. And if you can't find it online, I'm fairly sure you can order it just directly from the winery. If you buy it from the winery, I think it might be a little more expensive at like 20-ish bucks. But still, that's a bottle of wine I cannot recommend enough if you can get your hands on Joseph Swan. Uh-oh. We good? So did we lose the whole Horror Mia?
That's just gonna, unfortunately, be in audio form. But I'll play a nice video
Over that?
I'll play a nice video over it. I'll still put all the nice editor's notes and stuff. And you know what I should do for that entire segment where we have no video? I should take a picture of you and a picture of me and just like bounce them every time the other one's talking.
Yeah, that'd be great. And put a bottle of Joseph Swan right next to me.
Just this one. Okay. So I apologize for the technical difficulties. We had no video for a little bit. But anyways, there we go. Let me make sure.
I think we're good, right?
Okay, we're good. Let's continue the show.
Perfect. So then, yeah, a Valdiguie and Horror Mia for the win. Specifically, Joseph Swan Valdiguie. And if you can't find that, J Lore Valdiguie. Budget friendly, delicious, easy to drink.
Actually, what is it? Oh shit! I think we're out of time.
Oh, okay. Well then, I mean, perfect timing then.
I apologize for the video.
Whatever. This is what happens. It's a rainy day outside. We had a lovely lunch.
It's 8:00. Oh, you're supposed to be home by now?
Yeah, but whatever, Victor's already like 5 glasses of wine in deep. Not just kidding. He's only like 2 in.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this very star-powered episode of Quarks and Controllers. Star-powered meaning Starfield.
I'll say Star Trek.
Yeah.
Live long and prosper.
Again, if you're a vendor, a winery, a brewery, a distiller, a video game publisher, anything like that, be sure to reach us. Podcast, SPE.net. But that is not just for those people. We love the fans and we want to talk to them. So not only can you use the exact same email, you can use our social media, which is on Instagram, it's on Threads, it's on TikTok, it's all.
Ooh, have you seen that on Threads? You can now just see your only followers. That's
right. On Threads, if any of you even know what that is, you don't have to watch random plus signs talk to you about nothing that you even care about. You can hit follow and it'll be all the people you follow. And that's just how, honestly, they should default there. If I finish reading the day's follows and I'm just like, hey, all this stuff's turning old, but I still want to be on the app, then I should hit the other tab.
Yeah, to explore and see what else it is.
Yeah.
But no, yes, I've been using Threads now because I'm like, oh, I can actually see people I follow now.
There you go.
Because like for the longest time, it was just irritating.
It's almost, I wonder if there's like a threshold for it, because like in the normal dumb tab, it's everyone I follow, and then it starts getting a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I hit follow, because I'm just like, I don't want to see this weird stuff, it's the same stuff again. And I'm just like, I wonder if on Victor's side, it's just like nothing but garbage, and then he has to hit follow, because that's not the case for me.
On my option, I have the chance to see, I have to hit the stupid little A button, and then it gives me the chance to see followers or following, and then the other tab.
Right.
And I never care about the other tab because they already traumatized me for the first, 2 weeks, month that they had that.
It's like George Foreman. I'm just like, not only do I not care about you, your girls can go to hell. So
I thought George Foreman was a grill.
He's a real person.
Oh, I just thought of it as a grill. Wow. Well, anywho.
So there's that. But yeah, and if you appreciate what we see and want to throw a couple dollars our way, completely optional. That's coffee.com/corks and controllers as well. Or no. Post Victor knows, but it's either Speaky or Corks and Controllers. It's probably Speaky because it won't let me change it. Things, stuff, internet, web apps. Web standards.
Web standards.
Mm-hmm.
He's the tech guy, not me. I just follow along with all this.
Anyways, appreciate your viewing.
Yes,
We'll see you next time.
Thanks. See you guys. Bye-bye.